Hi, everybody. This is Jason,
I'm Pete.
and this is the Lost Legions podcast. And what are we here to talk to you today about, Pete?
We're here to talk about rumours via the Horus Hearsay.
This is true. But first, I think we need to address the elephant in the room, which is where the hell have we been?
Yeah, so it's been a good year or so, I think, since we last recorded. Is that right? Maybe no longer.
Yeah,
Maybe two
it's been a
years.
while.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's go with
longer
a year.
while,
It'll be
longer
fine.
while. Yeah. Well,
It's been a long while.
I've got an 18-month-old child now, and it was definitely before then. So yeah, it's been a bit longer than a year. But yeah, we're back.
Well, I think you just buried the lead. This is part of the reason why Pete has been busy with things that were not heresy.
Yeah, life takes its turns, right? But been heresy curious for a fair few months again now. Played one or two games, a couple against Jay. Started collecting and building an army again. We've sort of dabbled and talked about should we revisit the podcast, and then obviously lots of changes look like they're about to come. So we thought now is the time to jump back into the fire ultimately. Yeah,
I've
what are you
never
hoping?
the torch for me has never waned, but people around me have fallen off like like moths into a flame, and I've kept the heresy alive in my heart the whole time. I actually recently just went to an event with my friend Matt. I was like, nobody wants to play heresy. Matt, will you come with me? He's like, yeah, buddy, I'll go with you. So we went together and had a really good time. And then it was right after that. It might have been that weekend where Pete was like, hey, do you want to play some heresy? And I was like, what? Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, we're back, and we both have new legions, which I think I'll keep as a teaser for maybe our next video. We'll talk about what we're doing with our our new legions. Some are newer than others, but that's another part of the teaser.
Yeah.
Why don't we move on though, and why don't we talk about the Horus Hearsay? What do you think, Pete? Like you looked at this the other day. You saw the website. I think I had saw it first and sent it to you. And what was your first thought and reaction to it? Because I have opinions,
Yeah,
but go ahead. I want to hear yours first.
I think we differ a little bit. I was pleasantly
Yeah.
surprised. I'm quite up for this sort of stuff, to be honest. The them taking the mick out of the community to a degree and running around with little rumors and bits and bobs. I think it's cool. It would be nice to have some more sure-footed information, of course, but I
Yeah.
think we can allow ourselves just to let our minds wander and think about what changes might be coming and start talking about all of the rumors ultimately. And they're clearly designing this website to be that way. And Jay, you said when we were chatting yesterday that you think they're purposefully playing and trying to mimic what the community thinks, right?
Yeah. Okay. So just for anyone who didn't know, we didn't actually preface this. In case you don't know, I'm 99% sure you probably do if you're watching this video,
Yeah.
is that the HorusHearsay.com popped up, and it has the announcement video of Horus Heresy coming out with a little jokey trailer to it. And then, like Pete had been talking about, they've been posting stuff over the last week that are rumors. And these rumors, some of them have already been proven fake, like Push Fit Heresy, and the picture they used was a
Yeah.
40k sprue colored green. Like they, but I think there are real hints in here about stuff coming out. And there's obvious jokes, but I mean, I think a lot of it is. I was talking to Pete about this. I mean, so like I work in the game industry, and a lot of times like we'll look at what people are posting online and we're like, oh, they have no idea. Or we're like, oh, that guy is very astute. He knows what's going on. And I feel like a lot of these things are from them in the corporation having looked at all of the rumors over time for Horse Heresy, 40K, and just they decided to put together this jokey website, which, there's some chuckling stuff and there's some funny stuff. It's interesting that I thought they do this. I'm kind of like 50-50 more than Pete. Like I'm kind of
Yeah.
glad that they've done something different. I'm kind of glad they're trying something. I don't I think it really left the community confused. Some people think it's really funny. I think some people are like, what the hell's going on? overall, I'm just kind of glad that they're promoting it and they're doing something fun. Like, so I appreciate what's happening, even if maybe I don't necessarily find the content laugh out loud funny.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely. It's kind of nice to see them maybe even just having fun themselves in a very human,
yeah,
playful kind of way with it as well, right? Rather than just here's another release, see you later.
at least it's something interesting for marketing, right? Like,
Yeah,
at least it's something new, and I like that they're playing with the what they must see from their side when they start releasing something, right? Because there's always rumors. There's always like this box set and this box set, and then like one of them turns out to be kind of right, and one of them turns out to be completely false.
yeah,
So
that's it.
I'm curious this time because I've heard tons of different rumors about this. Like it's going to be salamanders in the box, but that seems to be kind of confirmed by the jokes on the Horus Hearsay website. I'm guessing.
Unless they're
What do you?
double bluffing, there's always the whole
Yeah,
thing that the salamanders never get any love, right, with a few of the other legions as well. So they might just be playing into that a little
that
bit, I think.
seems just cruel though,
Super
doesn't it?
cruel.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you never know. But yeah, I mean, they got. So should we go through some of? I mean, a lot of you would have already seen these, but we'll quickly recap
yeah,
through some of the teasers that they've put forward. So there's a D18 saying that it's going to be in the new rule set, and obviously the
uh,
18 probably fits with the Salamander's Legion number. That's what I kind of thought first. What did you think, Jay? Or
I mean, I as a D&D player, I immediately said this is bullshit because there is no D18.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
true.
So I knew right away that this one was a fucking joke. I was like, what? And plus, got a terribly photoshopped picture.
Oh yes, it
Um,
does. Yeah, yeah,
I but at that point, I was like, wait, what is happening? Like, this is where I was confused. And then the next one, we could just go back and forth about these. Is
yeah,
Stomp Stomp, and there's a drawing of what looks like a dreadnought leg, like kind of a leviathan leg. And then there's rumors, so I guess we could talk about the rumors too, of Saturnine Terminators and Saturnine Terminator Dreadnought. I have no idea how real any of this shit is.
yeah,
Um, it could be true, but this kind of goes with my theory of some of this stuff is probably actual teasers, and my guess is this is a teaser for some sort of new Dreadnought. I, I don't take that as gospel. It's literally just a guess.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what do you think about the next one? The next one caused
Push
some
fit
uh,
heresy. Well, yeah, you sent
yeah,
me a picture you got from someone else, I think, of
yeah,
the sprue it looks like part of an arm or of Ambrace or something, doesn't it?
yeah.
On the sprue there, is part of a Emperor's Children kit, which has already been released or something like that. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And they
yeah.
just highlighted it green or something, haven't they, to make it look like it's when it's the kit
That's
is
what people
green.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think they're teasing that. Interesting. I think that one's bullshit, to be honest. Then they do the math. They drop the 18 again on the sprue.
Yeah, I mean, I think again that
There's like a target with a number 2 in the middle, like an objective
I,
marker maybe or something similar, I guess.
I mean that actually could be an objective marker in the box, right?
Yeah,
So they could have objective markers in the box, and I think that it just randomly turned out to be 18, and they're playing with the Salamander's Legion, so they put it in there, and then they did this weird like guesstimate numerology stuff. I think it's pretty funny, but I think this one, I think that none of the text for this one's real, but I think that that actually might be an objective marker from the box. That's my guess.
yeah, yeah. I reckon so.
The
Um,
next one is interesting though, is the Have You Seen This Crest? Which shows a zoom in on an armored plate with something that kind of looks like a Crux Terminus. I'm not sure it is
yeah,
though. It
yeah.
could just be like a force
Void
field
shield
generator.
type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It
exactly right.
also looks like a void shield generator, and that could be something. I have no idea. What do
I
you
mean,
think?
it's definitely a mini, right? For
Yeah.
sure. Um, yeah, I don't know, dude. It does look like the maybe the bottom of a leg, perhaps, or like a leg panel or something similar. Oh, Jay, you Well, first episode back. We'll be right back with this hiccup. Oh, I've got the audio, Jay. Yeah,
I'm not even here anymore.
all right. We'll be right back. And we're back, I think. Jay, can you hear me?
And we're back. Yes.
Oh, it's
So
as if he never went away. So yeah, anyway.
we had some technical difficulties, but we were just running through the last of the Horus Hearsay posts. I think the one that we were finishing up was the "Have you seen this crest?" and
Flame weapons for the win as well.
yeah, that one was funny. I mean, that's all. Okay, we'll get into this a little bit more, but actually, I guess we could talk about it here because Pete and I are gonna talk about our top hopes for the new edition. But this one, maybe because I know what we're going to talk about, I'll talk about because I don't think it's on either of our lists. I hope that they do change the way blast weapons work because flamers are not that great right now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So we will see. But like that is I hope they're hinting about this actually. Even I highly doubt that they're going to change the templates at all. Like they're not going to change the templates, but they might change the way that they work.
And then the last little one.
Yeah.
I've had a thought about this one, Jay. I've not spoken to you about it though. So is it like
Oh, cool.
tactical pouch type thing? It's definitely got like a belt buckle holding something disc shaped in the pouch, right? That's fair to describe it as that, I think. I'm praying that this is shroud bombs or something on a plastic kit for recon. That would be sick. But who knows, right? It could be anything. But that kind of would be cool. I think. But yeah.
They look like classic like World War II landmines to me or something.
Yeah, like a bouncing Betty type thing, right?
Yeah, like with the disc shape on it. But that's actually an interesting shout, right? It's some tech thing in a pouch, right? Like that's.
Who knows? It could be literally nothing, right? So yeah, yeah, maybe a medical kit for like an apothecarian upgrade, maybe. I don't know. It could be a number of things, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's where we're at so far. So that's as of 11th of May. That is where they've gotten up to it. So we'll see what other things come up, and we'll probably maybe just keep bouncing back and forth on this as we keep doing our podcast. Just touching in and seeing what the new stuff is. But anyway, to the main core. Oh, go ahead. You got something else you want to add?
I was gonna say, and don't forget to go take a look at their cute video with the people in the office talking about the new edition of Horus Hearsay. It was a cute video. I thought it was fun. I mean, there's some stupid puns in it, but like it is.
It's terribly. It's so bad. It's good enough to be okay.
I liked the video more than the website, if that makes sense. I thought the video gave me a chuckle. The website gave me a few groans. But like I was like, but I appreciate what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fair enough. I'm the other way around, but yeah, fair enough. So
this makes sense. Pete and I was the opposite on everything, but for some reason that makes us better friends.
Yeah, very odd. So into the meat of the episode, and this is very much a wish list type thing, isn't it? We're going to discuss our 5 hopeful and 5 favorite changes that might come with 3rd edition when it's launched. There is no there's no knowledge about this. There's no rumors circulating about this. These points. This is me and Jay just going through what we've after playing second ed for all that we've loved it. The changes that we might like to see, which might improve things going forward, I guess. So yeah, do you want to fire off with the first topic, Jay?
We can just go back and forth on our first one. My first one that I hope that they do is I hope they change reactions. I think that in general reactions just need to be toned down a bit. And this is not a lot of this is return fire. And I feel like if they made some simple changes, just like heavy weapons can't return fire.
Yeah.
Only defensive weapons can. It would change a lot because what you're not going to see is everybody having 10 las cannon teams, right? Like there's some things that are just so good that everybody takes them and it just really forms the meta. I overall like return fire. I think that it is cool. But like some of them are so terrifying. Like you just don't want to shoot at some units.
Yeah.
It really forms the battlefield. Like I used to do it a lot. Because I would run with a 10-man last cannon team with
Yeah.
my Night Lords, and which is what I made for 2.0. And they no one would people would not want to shoot at them. I was the opposite. I immediately shot at someone's 10-man last cannon team because that nut needed to get cracked. But like I felt like it so defined the game when you had that really strong shooting unit that nobody wanted to shoot at. And like I do feel that like defensive weapons, whatever, strength 6 or strength 5, I think it's strength 6.
6, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Strength 6
6 or under,
can
right?
yeah, I think that really could change things. I mean, it will make some weapons better than others. It will change the meta around. But I think what you're going to stop having is the crazy weapons return fire, and I think it'll open the game a little bit more. I mean, I think other reactions need tweaks, but like that's the main one that I
Yeah.
think really needs to be
What
changed.
sort of change do you think you'd go for then?
For return fire, you mean, or for
Yeah.
return fire? I would simply just make it defensive weapons. Like I
Oh,
think
sorry.
that
Yeah, defensive weapons only. Right, got you. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would or strength 6 or below, not heavy weapons.
Yeah.
Basically, is what I'm thinking. Like I think that would really change things because then you're not going to get the multi melters, you're not going to get the las cannons. Um, Missile launchers, I guess, could return fire with frag missiles. Like it is, I think, a lot more game friendly.
Yeah.
And also in my mind makes sense because these heavy, slow, ponderous weapons can't return fire. Or, they could do something like have a cumbersome tag, and this cumbersome tag means you can't return fire. You
Yeah.
can do it in any way you want, right? Like
That's
it
that's
doesn't.
kind of how I think that would be a good way to deal with that. Sorry to butt in, because I would quite
No, it's
like to
fine.
see vehicles being able to, like a las cannon battery on a tank would be able to spin and shoot some shots back, right? Rather than a guy trying to. I know he's a
You
space
you
marine, but I want
you
vehicles to be better, right? I want
you you will not be surprised that Pete and we haven't discussed this, completely disagree about this. But like but you won't need that if other vehicles are not returning
true.
fire. Like
Yeah.
if 10-man last cannon squads are not returning fire. I mean, this
Yeah.
is for like incremental changes. I see what you're saying, but I think vehicles will instantly become better
Yeah. 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 Fair
if
enough.
if you don't have 10-man last cannon squads shooting them and then returning fire when they get shot at.
Yeah.
So like I think it'll instantly make vehicles better. Um
Yeah.
does that make
Yeah, no,
sense?
that
Like
does. Yeah, yeah, that does actually make perfect sense. I didn't really
that
think of it like
that
that.
would be my argument, but I
Yeah,
do agree with you that I think vehicles should be better. But I think that this is, but not a lot. Like I think it's a tough tightrope to watch, and this would be my top number one.
yes.
Um, what is your number one? Let's switch. We pivot. We've talked about me for long enough. Let's talk about you.
My number one, where is it? Number one would be changes to Night Fight. I quite like Night Fight in parts. I don't like how often it's in the game. Either player choosing it on a 2-up. Um, unless both players disagree that they don't want it, or agree that they don't want it. Sorry, it's kind of a bit too sure, too likely to come into play. Maybe it could be if only one player wants it, it's on a 4-up or something. Other than maybe Night Lords might get to influence it or something, right? Or both players want it, then it's a 2-up, and if neither player wants it, then obviously it's just off, or it's off on it's off on anything but a 1 maybe or something. Like play around with it a bit. I like the limits to visibility. I like the amendments to BS. I don't really like the amendments to leadership. I think with the fact that from edition 1 to 2, and I know we're now talking about 2 to 3, we had the leadership drop, didn't we, on all units pretty much by 1 point. So, the tactical sergeant went down from 9 to 8, if I'm remembering correctly. That's a big enough change. Then pinning is far more all over the place. There's more things that affect leadership values. It's a far bigger thing. So having sort of leadership 7 immediately just because it's dark is ultimately at that point it's a 50-50 roll, right? If you're going to pass it or fail it near enough. If 7's the average on 2d6. So yeah, I'd like to see maybe its effects on the
I
courage of Marines change.
I need to jump in here and
Mm.
sort of talk to you. Like, so my opinion of what I'm hearing is actually you don't dislike Night Fight. You dislike the leadership,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I quite
and
like
you
it.
just
Yeah, in parts.
and you dislike the things that that lead to. So I have some things that will address this later on in some of my
Cool.
list because I kind of agree with you, but I actually like Night Fight. So I was kind of ready because I had saw your list before. I was kind of ready to argue with you about this, but like actually I agree with you about most of it.
No
Like
way.
because I know fucking stop the clocks. Um so I like the 24-inch restriction. I like the -1 to hit. I do think like, you do suffer some pain if you're fighting Raven Guard or Night Lords. But again, I feel like that is part of their Legion fluff. They should have more like advantages at night. Um, I don't know about the frequency of it. I mean, like it's hard for me because I played Night Lords this last edition just because I wanted to try something new, and I really enjoyed a lot of it. But I also saw a lot of the feel bad stuff. But mainly with the feel bad stuff, I found it was not the shooting people. It was the two things that seemed to make people incensed was that your night vision they could not shroud. That seemed to make people fucking furious. And
Yeah.
the other thing that really drove people crazy was the -1 leadership. Um, those things seems to be the problem. I kind of like that both people can have it on a 2 plus. Maybe move it to a 3 plus. I don't know. Like if one person wants it. Um, because it'll only be the first turn most of the time unless you're fighting Night Lords and they have that special. Who knows if this is going to happen? The Rite of War. Who knows is going to happen in 3.0. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe I will agree with you and say maybe I think that night fighting needs a little bit of toning down in certain places to make it less frustrating.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd
but
like I'd
overall, I really like it.
I'd like them to expand on it and maybe make it a weather effects table or something, right? It'd be cool if maybe they were like D3, it's nighttime, it's a snowstorm, or it's something else, right? I don't know. Like something perhaps just a bit more fun. Just add a bit more flavor to it rather than okay, it's just pitch black on a 2-up, that's it. You know, change around
Well,
a bit.
it could. It, I mean, you could probably get the same effect if you changed the name from night fighting to I don't know, low visibility fighting or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
It's
you could,
just yeah, you're right. It's just
yeah,
it's a set of rules that's being associated with darkness rather than necessarily having the
yeah,
darkness. Yeah, yeah,
but I feel like, but you just hit on something. Like night fighting could literally be snowstorm rules. We're in a fucking snowstorm. I can't see you over 12 inches, but
yeah,
because I have thermal goggles, I can see through the fucking snowstorm. So like
yeah.
it,
No,
I think the night fighting would work fine for snowstorm, maybe without the leadership minuses, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. Cool. Your number two.
So my number two is I think that you need to remove brutal. I think brutal is
All right. So
terrible.
it's also my number two. So we'll talk about this together.
so,
So,
so we agree.
well,
Um,
hang on. Not necessarily. I think it should be changed. You think it should just be removed, right?
no, I have a suggestion.
Okay. Go for it. Sorry, my bad.
So I think brutal should be removed like as it stands, and I think it should be something simple, just like reroll ones to wound. Like it is way too crazy, um, especially like brutal 3. But I mean, the thing is that it's completely so you don't see power fists anymore because they're worthless because it's only a couple points more for a thunderhammer, which is not. It's It's not even slightly better. It's just way better. Like the guy has to make two saves.
Yeah.
Like I've had some serious moments where brutals come into effect, and you've been like, "Oh my god, I made two brutal 2 saves! Yay!" Like, and it's just insane. And this is, I think, I'll also kind of talk about Dreadnoughts with this. Dreadnought's Brutal 3 on their fists is way too much. Like, way too much. And I think that Brutal needs to be either completely removed or toned down. I think it's really skewed the weapons. I mean, like, and this is for someone who's one of my like Russ, one of the primary Primarchs that I used to run at the beginning, is insane because he's Brutal 2 on his weapons. And the way the Primarchs work, any ones with Brutal are way better than all the ones without Brutal.
Yeah.
Like, the three with Brutal, is it 4? Is it 3? Whatever. The ones with Brutal are at the top, and then everyone else falls down below them. And it's just like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why is this one rule so impactful? It's just too much. What would you change Brutal to?
I would make it a qualifying dice roll, just like how breaching works. So I would make it Thunderhammers are strength 8 or double strength, AP2, brutal 5 up, for example, or maybe 6 up, 5 up, 6 up, something like that, right? So on a roll of a 5 or a 6, you get brutal 2, so you get 2 wounds, right? So you're still wounding on 2s, but a wound roll of a 2, 3, or 4 is like you just absolutely smash someone's arm in with your Thunderhammer or their leg, and then a 5 or a 6 is you've whacked them around the head or hit them straight in the chest or something quite dangerous.
I think that that's better, but like at the same time, you end up with the same problem with why would you then take a Power Fist? Talk me through it.
Yeah, well, there is a difference between the two, right? If you're getting always double wounds on 2 ups and now you're only getting double wounds on 5 ups, you'd still pay 5 points for that. Of course you would. The points needs to be increased. It needs to be increased as well, right? So it needs to be maybe 10 points more. I can't think what the points difference is, but it needs to be.
I think it is.
It needs to be substantially more to still have the option to do double wounds, or make a Thunderhammer have another negative to it. Maybe it swings last against a Power Fist. I don't know, so it needs some other negative, right?
I don't hate this solution that you've come up with because there are some instances like with the Rule of Cool where I think that it is neat.
I think Brutal's cool. I think this is a great introduction. It's just been exercised badly.
Brutal 3 needs to be thrown in the trash. But like, even I still think it's dangerous unless it's something that's maybe just 6 up, so it occasionally happens. But like at that point, like you're still getting. It's still a lot of hits. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe 6 up.
I'd have to see the math of it, but like I do. So there's two different things that I would talk about. Is it's still pretty crazy, but it's way toned down if you do that, which is good. So I think my only main argument at that point is why do you take a Power Fist? Like, and that just being like showing that if like you had said, like if the weapon point spread is not enough, there's no reason you never wouldn't take the Thunderhammer, like because there's no trade-offs, right? Like it's not like the Power Fist is fucking cheap.
No.
Like
maybe that's it. Maybe the Power Fist is just too expensive, perhaps. Maybe Power Fist only needs to be a few points more than a Power Axe or Power Sword. Going last is a big negative ultimately.
Yep.
Unwieldy, right? It's.
Or you really want to get crazy? Really want to get fucking crazy? Do you want to get Batman crazy?
I mean, you do, yeah.
Take unwieldy off the Power Fist. Fuck you, Thunderhammers.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah. You could do that. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I don't know, there could be something. There needs to be something there.
I mean, that would be a fucking choice, though, right? Like, you want this.
Add a second fighting stance with a Power Fist called a Power Slap, right? Strikes at initiative 3. Strength 6, AP2 maybe instead.
Power bitch slap. Power poke where you like double poke him in the eye. Blind. Boop.
Yeah.
So yes. well, we'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
like, I think
power
we've
book.
just there's a couple of things that Pete and I have addressed. Why don't we jump to your number 3, and then we can talk about that.
Yeah, so my number 3 is I'd like to see some changes to Dreadnoughts. I don't really know what they can do. They're too tough, ultimately. I think more ways to insta kill them would be cool, because instant death doesn't work on them at all, does it? Like God, what's the blade called? Paragon blade, for example, doesn't work against it. Or if you,
I think it does a D3 damage.
yeah. So, oh yeah, that's it. The same as Melter does D3 damage, does it? Or you get against reroll wounds, don't you, against Dreadnoughts if you're within melt range? No, you're quite right. So, I think you should be able to instant them out. That would be a good way, maybe. I always used to like the idea of trying to see if a Faucian, with its strength 14 gun, could take out a Contemptor in one hit, but obviously not. But that'd be cool. I don't see why Faucian should be able to instantly melt the Dreadnought. Yeah, there needs to be more ways to do more damage to them. I don't know about armor save
So
changes necessarily, which I think might bring us onto your
let me
points.
let me jump in here
Mm,
because I my number 3 too is Contemptors and they need changes. I actually like that they can't be instant death. I
mm,
think it's cool. I like that the instant death does a D3 damage to them. I think that's neat.
fair enough.
But I think that, and this is what I think Pete was alluding to. My idea to change them is to drop their armor to 3+. I think that their armor is too high. And I think that things like that brings the thing to play like missile launchers. I think that that will really drop their dominance a lot because the other thing they won't be able to do is just run into any squad of infantry at that point and annihilate them because like they will be taking more wounds. Like Marines crack grenades, the weight of crack grenades will take them down. Right now, they don't give a fuck, right? Like unless you roll badly because they have a 2-up armor save. So if you make Contemptors a 2-up armor save and you leave Leviathans, sorry, Contemptors a 3-up armor save and you leave Leviathans at a 2-up armor save to make them special and tough because Leviathans have already dropped from 1.0 in toughness, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I actually think Leviathans are fine toughness wise because they should be fucking tough. I think Contemptors are too cheap for how tough they are. And I
fair
think if
enough.
you drop them to a 3-up armor save, I think it's a quick fix to make them a lot more like susceptible to injury. Sorry, go ahead. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is a quick fix without then. I would personally, and this is a slight off-topic thing, and it's not actually one of my top 5 changes because I think it's too much, but have some sort of save modifying going on would be awesome. Um, because I think a Dreadnought should have a 2-up save against Bolt of Fire. I don't see why it shouldn't, right? If a Terminator's got 2-up save against Bolt of Fire, a Dreadnought should definitely have it. But I agree, like missile launchers don't do anything. You could just give missile launchers. Oh, hello.
Somebody's climbed up on
For
the
those
desk.
just listening and not watching, a small kitten has appeared on a webcam.
This is
Uh,
our new kitten Wednesday.
yeah, yeah. Oh dear. Um, and she's off. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, like crack missiles. Maybe crack missiles gain breaching 6-up as well, or something, right? Or like, I don't know. There can be a way around it to make. The problem is perhaps more so that certain weapons just either do nothing or do tons. Like a las cannon versus a crack missile against a dreadnought is you might as well be firing bolters, tons of bolters at the dreadnought instead of crack missiles because
I
you're not beating its armor save, right? Whereas a las
you
cannon just
you
instantly beats it.
you could okay. So let me rejigger this a little bit. So if things are rebalanced, let's say you take Brutal out, Brutal's gone. You leave the Dreadnought at 2-up armor save, and you increase the AP of crack missiles to make them like 4-up breaching or something. Um, at that point, you've kind of done the same thing, where the Dreadnoughts are not insta killing people. They're not squishing Terminator so much because it's Brutal 3. You've brought down their power level, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, their armor of 2 up, I think, is fine. If things exist how they exist now, and the Dreadnought has Brutal 3, and crack missiles can't hurt them, I think they're way too powerful. I think that, like, not you don't need to triple nerf everything,
No.
but like it needs to be rebalanced. And I'm actually fine with that because I like that they're sort of immune to small arm fire. I like that people are plinking away at them. But what happens is that, like, a normal unit and even an elite unit sometimes do not have the, have enough firepower to do anything against them. I mean, Dreadnoughts currently are a huge threat to Primarchs because of their Brutal 3, right? So if they hit with all their hits and they all wound, like, they could possibly take out a Primarch in 1 or 2 rounds. Like,
Yeah.
and it's a fucking Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Without Brutal 3, that's not the case. They
Yeah.
might do a wound or 2 to the Primarch. But, like, as it stands right now, like, it's rough, right? Like, so yeah, like, I guess all I'm saying is all of the stuff exists in a system. So if you do some nerf, you don't need to do every single one of these changes, I guess. Like, they need to be thought through and balanced. So yes, I guess I'd back off on the Dreadnought 3 armor if, like, Brutal's gone and, like, there's some other changes that make it harder for a Dreadnought to be so unkillable or so dominant in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. I think you could do a lot of balancing in the game with just tweaking weapon stats and profiles more than anything else. You
Yeah,
don't
I
need
think
to. You don't need to change character profiles that much necessarily. You just
yeah.
like, yeah. I reckon maybe like you could even make crack missiles AP4 reaching 4 up, right? So then they're better at taking out bigger stuff,
Yeah.
but they're not also then awesome at just mopping all the Marines. Because otherwise, then crack missiles become quite, oh, you get to instant kill everything that's AP3. I'm gonna say 3, and you get a chance at 50-50 chance at being AP2 on Dreadnoughts, for example. That's quite decent, right? So I don't know.
Missiles, I think,
They need a rework for sure, because
yeah.
you're not hunting
Missiles need to
Marines
be
with them.
missiles need to be better against Dreadnoughts and vehicles, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. In the interest of time,
Moving on.
moving on. So your number 4, which is my
So
number 5. Looking at it here, I've now brought up our messages where we sent them to each other previously. Yeah, let's go for that.
So I will go through mine then, and then you could do your. Oh, why don't you do your number 4? Because then we can talk about 4 and 5 together.
Changes to Rites of War. No, changes to
Oh,
reactions. Well, we've already spoke about
yeah,
changes to
yeah.
reactions.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
we've already talked about that. Is there
Yeah.
anything additional you'd like to add to changes to reactions? I guess you've already talked
No,
about
it's
it.
the shooting reactions, the main one, right? We've been through that. It's too good. It's too powerful. It controls the game and the flow of the game
Yeah.
far too much for all the reasons you listed previously. Yeah, let's talk about. So my number 5 is changes to Rites of War, and in particular line and the rule of line, and how effective that has been in the new edition. I won't say new edition, in edition 2. So the fact that some Rites of War, like Pride of the Legion, for example, doesn't just make all veteran squads have line, only just the compulsory ones have line, for example, is a bit sucky. Certain other Rites of War where you lose line on a lot of other bits and bobs, don't you? Or there's a lot of Rites of War where you end up making something a troop's choice, but it doesn't gain the line special rule. That kind of needs to change a bit.
Let me
my
jump in here a little bit.
Mhm.
It is especially bad on the trader side, and this is a
Mm.
design choice, as I understand it. They wanted to make the traders more killy and the loyalists more defendy, and with that, they included a lot more line. This is as I understand it.
Right.
Please, in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I kind of understand it. So what happens is, especially on the trader side, the traders don't have a lot of their special units able to become line. And like Pete said, a lot of them just become troops in their special rights of war. And I think that overall this has, in my opinion, in 2.0, made it the loyalists more able to win events than the traders.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we froze
Your
again.
cam's frozen, but let's see if
No,
Jay
we're
comes
recording
back.
sound still.
We'll be right back. If not,
We froze again.
yeah. What?
That was a good point I was making too.
All right, you're back.
All right. So sorry about that. So what I was saying was that like in I think in events what's happened is because the loyalists are able to have more line units with their special troops, it's made them more likely, in my opinion, from what I've seen anecdotally, going to a lot of events, more likely to win than the traders. The traders do occasionally win, but it's become a joke. It was a joke, kind of like that the traders were kind of behind the eight ball most of the time. And this is, I think, because just in general, the loyalists have more line units, more good line units. And
Yeah.
that I think agreeing with Pete, and this was my number 4, is that specifically I said more line units in Rite of Wars for the traders.
Yeah.
And I think they need to be equal. I think that everybody needs line units with their good rights of war. So yeah, is there any other rights of war changes that
No,
you think
I
happen, or is
can't.
that
I think that's the main thing. Is if you make, there needs to be significant negatives, but ultimately, if you're making something troops in a rite of war, it should probably also gain line, unless it's batshit why it wouldn't do. Like, to be honest, the Dreadnought one, the Fury of the Ancients, is crazy, and they shouldn't all have line, right?
there's a hand on my face?
Oh, I can't see it. It's not coming on the
Oh, really?
camera. You're just.
It's on your cursor's right there on
Oh,
my finger.
oh, hello.
Hi.
Oh, as I, oh,
Um.
the cursor's not the. The cursor doesn't come on the recording, Jay.
Okay. Well, now it's on you. Um. So so.
And then the last one, that's your point five, which we've kind of briefly touched on,
So
didn't we, with night fighting, I guess. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I didn't fully go into this, but like this is kind of so my number 5 was make pinning less harsh.
Mm.
And I think that like, but I think actually when Pete was talking about it, I think it's the leadership shenanigans in general. It's the leadership is lower. I think actually I like that leadership plays a bigger role, but I think that in this edition there's enough things where leadership actually really matters. And I feel like maybe adding back that one leadership that's lost might help. I mean, so I wanted to make pinning less harsh, like either make it harder to do, but I feel like just adding one leadership would also address this, right? And I'm kind of expanding this from Pete's night fighting talk because what seems to happen is that like leadership effects seem far more harsh. So if there's anything like say night fight that gives you another -1, or on top of that, you're fighting Night Lords and they have fear and they drop down next to you. I mean, it's like it just collapses,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like if you keep the current minuses, you need to raise the leadership back up. Like I think they double nerfed it. And I do think that a slight reduction on either side, either keep on the minuses and raise the leadership back up, or nerf most of the minuses, like take away the night fight minus, stuff like that. And I think it'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
But again, like for pinning, I think that raising the leadership one would be immense because what's going to happen is your sergeant's going to be 9 and everyone else is going to be 8. So it's going to be so much better because after the snipers kill your sergeant, you still have an 8. So
Yeah.
most of the time, you're not going to get pinned. And I feel like that would be fine, even if you kept the night fighting minuses at that point. Like
Yeah.
it's it just there needs to be a slight tweak of leadership modifiers up, but not completely like it was in 1.0 where they didn't fucking matter. Because it is cool that leadership fucking matters now.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, that's my
Maybe
two cents.
just add into that. Maybe maybe it would be a cool feature of Exilas and standards that you get to reroll failed tests or something. Like you can make it that they're make the way the army looks work and feel fluffy for all the banners and stuff, rallying your friends and keep them in the fight. There could be something around it, right? But yeah, I think you're right.
You know why I also like that is because if you're the sniper, you're like, well, I need to kill the banner first.
Yeah.
Not the sergeant.
Yeah.
I don't need to kill the sergeant first. I need to kill the banner first, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like,
this could be because it's cool unpicking. Yeah, I personally quite like the unpicking a force. I need to kill that guy there because that guy's going to have this effect and do this, and then that support squad needs to go because of XYZ reasons, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think we've been going for 45, so that's a big old episode for us.
All right. Yeah.
Hey, it's been a couple of years, so that's good. Hopefully we are here to stay, and join us next week for the next one, I guess. Who knows when?
Cool. Bye, everybody. Thank you very much.
Cheers for watching and listening.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, we're recording, but as I hit record, I had a yellow warning light come on my taskbar at the bottom, and it says thunderstorm. It's like, all right, just summoned a storm.
Don't put your mouth around your mic just because you're gonna get electrocuted.
All
right.
No deep throat mic today. No?
Should we kick off then?
Yeah, go for it.